All right, guys, welcome to Facebook Live. Thank you for jumping on here. I really appreciate it. It is January 1st, so I hope you're off to a start, or your start to the new year is great. We're at the office getting some work done because we're like coming off of 2020, realizing that while we had a really good year, there's a lot of things that we could do better. You know, I was reading a text to a group of guys today, and I'm like, this is one of the most powerful, and I want to share. The person didn't give me permission to share it, but he's like, here's where my account was 90 days ago. And here's where I am now, and I cannot thank you enough. He said, like, I didn't do it, but I mean, he just means in general the company, what we do. And that's why we can't stop working. We can't stop working because there are people in that position. And I got to meet some people today in training, which is great, and a lot of guys I haven't met before, some names I knew. Nick, I had a ton of people in here today. Tyler, I think this is the first time we've met. Right?
Yeah.
We met at a meeting briefly.
Yeah, we met
like in passing.
Yeah,
got it.
2-3 minutes.
So Tyler Adams, who is been with us since September 15th. I'll always remember that. It's the day after my birthday. So when you said September 15th, I won't forget that one. If you say another day, I'm like, when did you start? I don't know what day you started, but yeah. I'm up. Mine's 14th. You started the day after my birthday. And so great day for you. I mean, just missed about one day, but it's probably even better. You'll be better at the 15th and the 14th. But you've been with us since September 15th. So in that period of time to December 31st, how much did you issue?
187,000 and some change.
Okay, so I need people to, because one of the things we're working really hard on, and I think we're getting there, is, I'd almost like people to, sometimes they have all this awesome education, and we need a master's degree in minimization. What we do is not hard. If somebody tells you that they're special, magical, unbelievable, follow me, I'll take you to the promised land, they're not telling you the truth. We call people that ask for help. We meet with people that ask for help, and we help them. It's that simple. So you never sold life insurance before. No. Obviously, it's time. What's your biggest month? 70, 80 grand a month that you paid?
Yeah, I did 78,800. Yeah.
Okay, 78 grand a month. How many hours a week do you think you're working in the field?
In the field, I would say 45, 50 hours in the field.
And I bet I think that's a struggle for people, Tyler, is one of the things that happens is if you're not issuing whatever you want to issue, and that's everybody's got their own goals. If you're not, it's because you're not working enough, you don't have enough leads. It's not because this person's better than you, he's funnier, he's taller, he's shorter. None of that matters. She sold life insurance one day. It doesn't matter. Here, where we understand the clients meet with all want our help, and we're not prospecting or cold calling, because neither one of those work long term, just in case you want to know. If you're doing those, you should find something else to do. But getting people to understand, you left a job because you were tired of the industry you're in. You just left. You knew Marco Conde, thank God, what a great guy. And you just were like up and quit. Or Marco was like, wait a minute, don't quit. You're like, dude, I already quit, so I got to go sell life insurance.
Yeah, I called him. I'm like, hey, I quit my job, and I need to learn how to sell insurance. That was he was quiet for like 5 seconds. He's like, okay. I said, can I come down tomorrow? He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, cool. I don't have anything to do now, so.
Yeah, right. I don't have a job anymore.
Yeah.
Now, explain to me from a training standpoint, what did you get from Marco or from watching? Give me 2 or 3 things that, because you're so new, give me 2 or 3 things that you got from the training, website, TNL, all Marco, I don't care. What are a couple of things that you got and held on to early that allowed you to have this kind of success?
Well, the thing I love about FFL is the training platform is unlike anything I've ever seen. There's never been an industry where everyone gives you the keys to the city, and all you have to, it's a turnkey system. You put it in, you turn it, boom, you're there. So for me, Marco plugged me into the right places to go to the playbook. And for me, I would say my first month, there was no Netflix, there was no Spotify, there was no anything. It was YouTube, FFL, podcast, YouTube, FFL, podcast, playbook. And then I did that on a repeat. And my first time in home, I felt pretty confident and competent just because I've watched so many hours of top producers, and no offense to anybody, but unless they were producing 40K, I didn't watch their videos.
Right. And that's, by the way, that's fair.
But
that's what you were trying to, you knew where you wanted to go, but I mean, what you said was worth $1 million and then some. There was no Netflix. There was no Spotify. I mean, it's funny how we become independent as contractors, and we spend all this time doing things that don't produce income. If we could eliminate the non-income producing activities, it'd be a wrap. And people ask me all the time, you watch that on Netflix? I'm like, no. And I almost want to go like, dude, before you ask me, I haven't watched any kind of show on Netflix, and like, I don't remember when. I'm sorry. I'm not. Now, you give me movies that were from back in the day, dude, I know every word. I wasn't working. I was working whatever job I was working. I watched every movie. I could sit there and recite the words to you as they're saying them, and it's probably pretty annoying. But at the end of the day, at this point in time, when I decided, like, we're going to run a company, dude, everything else went out. Like, I'm going to do my stuff with my kids and go to work. Like, that's it. It's not that complicated. When you went out into the house, did you have any kind of, when you started calling leads, because you had not called leads in life insurance before?
I've never called in any capacity.
Ever a lead in any business?
No.
Okay. Were you uncomfortable about calling them?
I don't want to say uncomfortable.
Okay.
I had listened at that point to probably 20 to 30 hours of live dials. I would tune in on Mondays and Thursdays from 8 a.m. till throughout the whole time I was training. And I had a mentality going in. I was going to buy so many leads, no matter how terrible I was to begin with, I was still going to make money.
Yeah.
And I just went all in. My previous employer, due to COVID, my comp had been cut, commissions been cut. So I wasn't in the best financial position. And I had it was on the 15th, I had about $2,000 in my bank account. I invested $1,500 in my first order of leads, and rent was due in 2 weeks. And my wife is super supportive. We talked about this journey. I talked with Marco just from a standpoint. She was so supportive of me. But I never forget, she saw me take that out of the account. She just looked at me and said, just give me a week.
Mm-hmm.
Just give me a week. And I turned that into, I think, like $8,300.
But think about that. Okay, like, take a step back and think about having $2,000 to your name. And taking $1,500 of it. But you were prepared. You had listened to the trainings. You put yourself in a position to win. You had heard what clients say on the phone. You heard what agents said in response. You heard what their posture was. You heard how they got themselves still together. You heard people do things and go, I don't want to do that. That was probably that didn't help. He didn't book the appointment. She didn't book the appointment. Okay, that didn't work. Now I'm going to do this. So you prepared yourself, but also you see, when you bet on yourself, you're like, who do you work with? People that bet on themselves. And I'm kind of like, we were talking quite a bit about that in the training today. It's kind of when I say that, people's eyes pop. I'm like, dude, we didn't make money for 3 years. I don't know where you're, like, what do you think we were doing? Like, real estate, we're paying this. It was like, we were just trying to stay in business, literally. But we put everything in every week. I mean, that's what we did. I was always joking with Mike Sizer. He'll bring it up. And we'd literally send the bank statement to all the staff every day. Yeah, I mean, Tyler, it's so stupid. Like, God, what a low business acumen I had. We had no money, and somehow I was going to remind them that we had no money. It was like 4 of us. And it was like, here you go, bank statement, like showing them that we have $104 in the bank account. And finally, Mike's like, you do understand you're scaring the hell out of them, because they're thinking you're not going to make payroll. I'm like, they always make payroll. He's like, yeah, but like there's 100, we get it. And it was like, we're working hard too, bud. But I was just frustrated. And it wasn't like I was scared. I'm like, dude, I ain't scared. I ain't scared of God. I ain't scared of nothing else. I don't care. But I just was like, we have to have a better result to take care of staff, agents, and build a real company. And when people do what you're doing, Tyler, they get rewarded. Because at the end of the day, like you just said, it doesn't matter how good you are. As long as you have enough leads, who cares? It doesn't matter. If I asked you to explain our clients, I know they're middle American clients, but if I asked you to explain them, if I was brand new to the business, Tyler, give me an idea give me some adjectives to describe the client's Family First Life service. How would you describe them?
I would say that, it's kind of split. I saw an analogy one time. You had like the 3 rings. You had the 30% ring, the 30% ring, and then the ring in the middle. You got like the 33% that no matter what you're going to do, they're going to buy a policy.
100%.
Unless you just absolutely insult them in their home. You
Correct.
walk in, they're like, here's a check. Right?
Yep. True story.
Then you have the 33% on the bottom that are, kind of on the fence. And then in the middle, I think, is where that you have to work for it, right? Like that's where the skill comes into play. And for me, I think everyone wants our help. I truly believe that. No one says, you know what, I'm going to go on Facebook and fill out that I want life insurance and I want $25,000 and my daughter's going to be my beneficiary and blah, 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 blah. My height is 5'7", I'm 250 pounds, and give us those intimate details. And then when you call, they're like, well, I'm not interested anymore. Like,
correct.
Something changed. So for me, I look at it as everyone wants our help, but it's my job to get them out of their own way to let me help them.
Yeah. Very well said. And I think one of the things that I acknowledged early on was they were very trustworthy.
Yes.
I mean, what really blew me away from a psychological standpoint, now we were just talking about this, when people hire agents and start telling all these war stories about how awesome they are in the field, what you're doing is telling the person, like, how great you are and going, by the way, you're probably not going to be as great as me. Let me be clear. that the best producers we have in the company, they work more hours than you and buy more leads. I can tell you unequivocally that when I used to work at a different company and compete with Matt and Paul and Andrew and all these guys, I just ran more appointments and I bought more leads.
Yep.
That's it. That's why I could beat them, because I ran more and bought more. Nothing else. And I knew that. And by the way, I also knew that if it wasn't duplicatable, wasn't that simple, I couldn't build a business. So I knew, number one, I wanted it to be that way. I wanted it to be that simple. And I wasn't worried about getting the credit for it or being like, look how amazing you are. But what really hit me when I saw this industry was how unbelievably trustworthy you have to be to send, as you said, go on Facebook, go on the internet, fill some out, send to you in the mail, whatever it is, put those details on a piece of paper, online, whatever, and then you call, I don't know you, and you say yes because you filled it out, you want me to call you, and then it's okay for me to come to your house. Those are very trusting people.
Yes.
So as you said, to take 2/3 of it and screw it up, you almost have to go out there and make them distrust you. And the way you do that without even knowing it is not providing structure. If you come to my house, Tyler, and you don't let me know what we're going to do and who you are and how this works, I'll distrust, I'll be nervous. I'm not saying you're a terrible human being. I'm just not going to trust you with my family's protection. I'm not going to trust you're going to deliver a check to my kids because you can't take control of this situation. Make sense?
Yeah, and for me, I watched so much training, I tried to make a system to where I couldn't screw it up.
Yeah.
So I legitimately got on my iPad and my notes, and I put, based off of some of the videos that I've seen, I'm like, all right, open up with this, say this, talk about this, don't forget to mention this.
Yeah.
And even if I fumbled, no one knows but you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I truly believe that, you know, if you want to help families, if you want to make a difference, because of my personal experiences and what happened to me and my brother when he passed, I saw how that affected my family. So I truly want to help people, and I don't want anybody to ever go through that.
Yeah.
So I think in this business, if you truly plug into the system and you put the numbers in your favor and you care about people, I really can't see how you can fail. Like, if you buy a ton of leads, you're going to close 30 to 33% of them. That's still going to double your investment. Like, if any stock person, like, hey, you buy this and you're going to get a 50% return, they're going to take it every time.
Correct. First of all, you're really good. So you have to, I mean, like, because you're straight up, you did your due diligence, you worked hard, you prepared. And that's the thing about preparation. People are like, they just don't understand how powerful it is and how much better you feel when you're prepared. I don't think you need, and listen, once you're prepared, you don't have to think about it every minute of every day. You're prepared, you got a game plan. I'm good. I know how to react. You might say this, I say this. This 30% of the time may not even work. Fine, but 66% of the time it's going to work.
Yep.
So I'm good, but I don't have to go ahead and perseverate every minute. I don't have to change every time it doesn't go good in one appointment. You know, every time I'm going to change it. What should I change? Relax. Well, you should worry. Stop trying to change. It was just 2 appointments. Relax. It's going to be okay. And I think one of those things is then that allows you to be less emotional about the business.
Okay.
See, you were so prepared that $1,500 was like, as you told your wife, I got it. Just give me a week. Can't blame her for going like, hey, can you do math? That's most of our money. Rent's due, and you just took most of our money. Like, you do know what you're doing, right? Yes, I do. Okay, got it. But I just want to make sure you know what you're doing because that's most of our money. And I think for us, it's really, I'm really excited about what 21 looks like because we're going to hire an army of people like you that are going to join us. They're going to do their preparation. They're going to go on they're going to check it out. They're going to watch whatever they want to watch. They're going to find. I always tell people, we're going to listen to training, figure out where they connected. You said, hey, I'm going right up here. I want people doing 40K. I want to listen to those. Cool. I think anybody can hit Hall of Fame. Just people ask, what should my goal be in 21? I'm like, I would make you drop dead Hall of Fame because you're talking about, you know, a little over 30 grand a month, and anybody can do that. They can. If you just get some leads and you work, I wouldn't expect you to say, I work 100 hours a week, because that'd be a lie. 45 to 50, by the way, which is what I've worked my entire life since I was 12 or 13. So that's not, I just think that's what you're supposed to. 40 is like not full time. I always thought more than that was full time. So people are like, man, I worked 40 hours a week. I'm like, oh my God, how are you ever going to do it? And, but Tyler, I'm really appreciative for what you're doing. I'm appreciative for you giving back. And I think telling this story, I mean, we got to get him on Next Level Live, Nick, and get him telling this whole story. You're getting ready to move to run business and build a business. And I'm like, you're just all like, I'm going to go in this area. We're going to do this. I'm going to build it big there. I mean, and why can't you get to $1 million a month within 8, 9, 10 months? You can.
And again, that for me, I think that this is the only business where you don't overthink it. You just do it. That's what I was telling someone earlier. She's like, what's your advice? I'm like, honestly, I think you're thinking too much. The business is simple. Buy a bunch of leads, make a bunch of calls, set a bunch of appointments, make a bunch of money.
But that's what we tend to do.
You know,
We'd rather outthink it. Let me take a step back and think about it.
Yep.
That's what I was telling other kid. I was talking to him. Like, dude, you just think a lot. Like, you're great, but like every time something pops up, you're thinking it over. This isn't that deep. I mean, if you're building, if you are in charge of creating a new vaccine, you should think, because that seems important. But when you're going to meet with people that want your help and helping them, and then hiring people that want to work and want a job, this is not that complicated.
it's not.
And when you start acting like it is, you slow everybody down. It becomes a paralysis by analysis. And people are just like, let me slow down and look at this thing. I just want to charge ahead. That's what I was saying to, I think Chris was making fun of me because I was watching those inlet videos last night, the Florida's most dangerous inlet. And I was like, dude, like they hit the boats sink and the jet skis. So Chris is like, that was a pretty cool video. I was like, yeah, so I went out this morning. I'm getting my jet skis. So I want to go in the inlet. And he's like, yeah, that's not what the video was for. It was for like you. And I was like, no, I wanted to see the time of day, and I want to hit that thing and see how it goes. They went airborne, land on their backs, fall off the jet ski. There's nobody else on mine. It's just me. So I'm only hurting me. These guys had kids on boats. That's terrible. But like just me, the only person that can get hurt is me. And I'm like, I just want to run the business that way. Get on it, go as fast as we can. You know, fall off it, bump into stuff, get back on it, go back to work, and figure it out as we're going along, as opposed to going, when's the right time? Right time's now, bro. Follow me. We're going. Do you think it's the right time? I have no idea what the tide is. Let's just go. It looks like a lot of fun. Ah! You know, like I think that's, but that's how you're doing this business. You're smart. You prepared yourself. You're good to go. But at the end of the day, it's you know, we have to, everybody that's watching this today has the ability, because we're one day into the year. Let's go ahead and have 3,000 people hit a Hall of Fame. I mean, hundreds is cool, but let's get thousands. And then you work hard. You take that extra money and invest in your business, which we talked about. You live on this. I think you were asking me, what did salary did I pay myself?
Yeah.
Like, I just basically took, it was a great question. I said, I took what my bills were, which, by the way, at the time, my mortgage was like $900. I had no car payment. My Honda Accord was paid off. So I hit a deer and that was over. I had to get another car, but like it was paid off. Had my insurance payment, my kids' expenses. They weren't in like a lot of really expensive things. So like I just paid myself what I needed to live, and then I put everything back in the business. It wasn't necessarily a salary. It was like, how much am I needing to live? I really just paid my bills out of it. Okay, pay me this so I can make these payments every month. And I put everything back in because, as you pointed out, Tyler, the return on it was better than I could get anywhere else. I couldn't find a better long-term return. And then to be straight up, integrity in 2019, October of 2019, changed everything. Because now it became like a very real deal, a very, very unbelievable plan, long-term and short-term for your family that we never saw coming, to partner with a company like that. And you can do your partnership in a year, less than, and do the things you want to do for your family. So isn't it crazy to go from the $2,000 you have, the $1,500, to go like, you can make this kind of money, continue to do it, partner, and it's just hard work. If you're going to sell and recruit 7 days a week, you're going to win. You're going to be hard to compete with. But you know what? You're right. You're going to give up Netflix. You're going to give up a lot of this stuff, man. Sorry. It's just you're going to. You know, somebody asked me today, do you do meditation? I was like, dude, do I look like I do meditation? I'm like, come on, bro. I'm working, man. I got time. I mean, come on, man. I'm going to work, you know, and that keeps me sane. Like, I go to work. So it's, I'm really appreciative for what you do. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to the families we serve. It means a lot with your why and what happened with your family. So I appreciate it. It means a lot.
And I just appreciate, Shawn, you and all the mentors and just the family feel that we have. We truly live up to our name. If you call anybody I've ever called has picked up the phone or messaged me right back and given me everything that they had.
Yeah.
Like, there are no secrets here.
That's the way it's supposed to work. I think we have a great culture in that regard, and we do it with everybody. You know, watch what we're doing. Even if you don't work with us, we are just going to go out there and serve the heck out of people. But that's what a team does. Yeah. No ego. Put the ego aside. Ain't about that. You know, it's you know, humble and hungry is a pretty easy thing to live by, man. Let's just stay starving and let's stay very humble. So,
got my commitment.
I got no doubt about it. You got mine, brother. So I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Let's get the year off. Let's get off and running. Let's not let up. This is a great weekend to work. We'll be here all day, getting some training done, working on some stuff to become better at what we do. We're gonna really do a really cool thing at the Boca office, huh?
Yes, we are.
Like, really cool, right?
It's going to be awesome. I can't wait for more people to come see.
Do you want to talk about it a little bit? Or you?
I think we should show it when it happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just say it's gonna be a lot of recognition
There's definitely
for some people that have hit some crazy producers, managers. But we're gonna do like it's the Boca office is gonna become the corporate recognition center. And I said to Nick, he was like, "Man, we're gonna do this and this and this." I go, "Hey, by the way, as you're planning all this, how much is this costing me?" He's like, "Well, we don't have to do it." I'm like, "It's such a good idea. We have to do it now." You know what I mean? But how are we not going to do it? He's like, we'll take care of it. I was like, "Yeah, that's always T. Always says, like, yeah, good at spending your money." I was like, "Oh, yeah, they're good at spending the company's money, no doubt." But, hey, yeah, he's really good at it. But, hey, if you need something, let us know. Leads, instant enough life leads. Is the sale still? What's the deal with the sale?
The sale is not. It was ended last night. 50% off ended last night.
Get your leads.
Yep.
We was giving them away anyway.
They're
still giving away $11 brand new leads. Mine were $80. They said free on it 3 different places, and they gave you a gift card to a big store if you filled it out.
Wow.
So, and most of the people, it was a different world. But that's what we did. And they were a long way from where I lived, and we flew, and we drove 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours. So leads please don't let up. Let's get rolling. Tyler, appreciate you, buddy. Nick, thanks. Guys, thanks for all you do. 2021 is going to be an amazing year. So we are going to